Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another very special Out of the Fast Lane partner review with the boys at Dirt Track Digest. We tonight we have sportsman driver Brendan Gibbons. He races at on the show. He races at Glen Ridge and Fonda, and we'll get a little career insider on him. Today is a new era for the Out of the Fast Lane group. If you can notice, this is a little bit more digital because I ordered my computer ended up coming that I ended up ordering. I've been iRacing a little bit on there, and I'm also using it for my YouTube channel. Today, today everybody saw the news that Fonda Speedway unfortunately will not be opening right now due to the fact of the coronavirus and regulations. So if you guys really just, I'm gonna stress this. I can't stress this enough to please wear a mask and all that stuff because it's hurting these racers as much as it's hurting us fans. But I'll definitely still be filming and doing all this stuff. Chances are a lot of the post race interviews that you guys usually get on this channel are now gonna be pretty much interview like this instead of a actual like person to person talk because of the regulations right now. So I'm not allowed to go to the racetracks, and none of us really are. Fans aren't allowed to tracks and stuff. So for right now, I'm gonna be doing a lot of it on digital. I'm gonna be probably doing a lot of pay-per-views, watching pay-per-views and all that stuff. But that's besides the point. We are gonna get Brendan on now, and if you guys don't know of him, you will in a minute. Here we go. Like I said, this is the brand new era of the Out of the Fast Lane channel.
Hello.
Hold on.
We almost got you.
Yeah, hold on. We're all. It's a test. It's a test interview. I mean, it's also an interview, but we're doing a lot of testing. Okay, there we go. Welcome to the show.
Got it.
Yeah. Crazy times right now. So without Fonda being open, where are you gonna be running?
So we're gonna be focusing on Glen Ridge a little more now. We were doing weekly at Fonda and Glen Ridge, trying to be in the points chase over at the Ridge, but we've had a tough couple of weeks. So the plan is to put all of our time and effort into there to try to get back up in the points and see if we can't make something happen. Got a little bit of time left over there, so we're hopeful that the couple bad weeks we've had should fall out. And we may take a couple trips around, maybe some Can-Am, maybe the Valley once or so, but pretty much just going to focus on Glen Ridge and try to get a little better finishes over there. We've had a fast car, just bad luck with mechanical problems.
Mm-hmm. So all of us are, so now pretty much that fans are not going to be allowed at racetracks and stuff. What's that like for you as a driver racing without fans in the stands?
It's a little weird. It was funny last night at Fonda. You go down the front stretch under yellow and stuff, and you're expecting to see people in the stands, and you don't. But, I mean, from what I'm told, they've got a lot of good turnouts on the live broadcast. Mm-hmm. And, you still see a lot of the diehard fans paying for pit passes and coming in and, hanging out with their favorite drivers and everything. So, I mean, you still get some that way, but it's definitely weird not seeing anybody up in the stands, and it makes it a little eerie almost when it's just empty grandstands everywhere.
So, what got you started into racing, and how long have you been racing for?
So, my father raced when I was a kid, and I've been around it my entire life. I started racing about 2 years ago. Started out in the novice over at Fonda and the Ridge, quickly moved up. Just been trying to make a name for myself over in the sportsman class, anywhere that I can run. One day we just decided to buy the car and go race, and it just haven't looked back since. It's been pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So, what other tracks are on your list as a driver that you would like to visit?
Definitely the Valley. You hear a lot about the guys over at the Valley that can run pretty well. I feel pretty blessed to run Fonda every Saturday. I mean, if you look at the name of sportsman drivers there, you have a pretty all-star field. A lot of them I call good friends, but I mean, you got a lot of hard competition, and so if you can make it at Fonda, it's always cool to be able to do something over there. But I mean, going over the Valley would be interesting. I've run a few shows at Malta. I'd love to go back. Maybe some 5 Mile Point or Accord or something of that nature. Maybe some of the Southern Tier tracks to try and run down there, see if we can't hold our own. And I'll race anywhere and everywhere. Just get, if I have the tires and the time, I'll go. So I love trying new places, and every track teaches you a little more about you as a driver, and so it's pretty interesting.
Now, you mentioned that you got the race last night at Fonda. Give me a little bit of a race recap for you. How was your race?
So the heat race, we started outside pole. We had a pretty good race. Timmy Harvin was on my inside. I had Curtis Hohenschel behind me and Mark Mortensen in the race as well. Started out, we ended up having a fuel delivery issue. The pickup in the tank was a little tweaked, and we were starving for some gas. So ended up falling back to fourth. Still made in the redraw, drew 11th, and basically just tried to move up where we could. I personally watched the guys around me running the high side through the bumps, and I'm like, man, this isn't the way to get around here. I'm watching them push and shove and almost smack the wall. So I tucked it down to the bottom and just kept trying to pick people off and made it up to 8th, working on 7th, and a last race restart put me back to 9th. But I was pretty happy with that. Top 10 was pretty good. So I was pretty stoked with that.
Now, tell me, because you're number 24, tell me the backstory on why you chose the number 24.
So the backstory is actually kind of cool, and I tell everybody it's number B24, and the reason it's B24 is my grandfather. I was very close with him. He actually flew the B-24 bomber in World War II.
Wow.
So when I went to go pick a number, I said, "Oh, my first name's Brendan. There's the B." And I said 24. That'd be kind of cool to do a little homage to my grandfather. And if you look at the numbers on my car in a very light outline, you see a set of pilot wings. It says "In loving memory of Grandpa." So that whole number is based off of his history and what he did serving our country 70 something years ago. So kind of a cool little tribute to him every time I climb in the car. That's why I picked that number the way I did.
So for you as a driver, and like everybody races all around, for you, who do you, say you go to a track that you're not really familiar with, who are some of the guys that you like to go talk to for advice?
I always I got a good friend of mine, Michael Maresca. He and I went to college together, and I'm always one to pick up the phone and call him. Another good friend of mine who runs the Crate Sportsman is Joey Williams. He's been around the block for a long time, and he's been kind of my right-hand man when I go on the road. And like we ran Florida back in February, went down for the Deo show, camp earlier in the year, Penn Can, a couple on the road tracks, and it was nice to have Joey in my wheelhouse to help me out, get the setups right, and figure out the car. So he's been an excellent source. And sometimes we travel together and he'll race too, and we kind of share with each other what we're seeing, what we're feeling for the track, and changes we might want to make, and we bounce ideas off each other. So I'm super fortunate to have some friends like that. Another good one's Aaron Jacobs. I mean, he's been around for a long time racing, and he's always willing to answer my phone call and talk to me about what to do for this track or gears to run or stuff like that. So those three guys have been a huge help in my career to be able to go to these different places and at least attempt to be competitive. Start somewhere decent instead of having to go knowing absolutely nothing. So those guys have been excellent for that.
Now, you just mentioned something that you got to go down in February to the Deo show. What was that like for you, the overall experience racing during speed weeks and all that stuff?
I loved it. I mean, I loved the track. Alltech was a great place. The first night we struggled a little bit. We were trying some new stuff. We basically went down to use it because I changed my whole rear suspension in the car over the winter, and we went down there as kind of a trial and error thing just to see what would happen. And the first night we struggled a little bit. The second night we had a great car, fast car. We were breaking into the top 10 and ended up actually in a bad incident, rolled it. But I mean, the lessons we learned down there put us in a really good spot to start this year. It's been a weird year for everybody, so it's to say that we learned a lot and came in strong, but really we did. I mean, we've had a very strong year. We just had unfortunate luck, mechanical issues or something like that. But handling wise on the car, we've been in a really good position. But Florida was fantastic. I plan to go back next year. If they added more races for the Crate Sportsman, I'd be down there because it was a really fun time to be in a different part of the country racing with different fans. Don't usually get to see us.
So you also your brother Carter also races Crate Sportsman, and what's that like for you as a bigger brother to help? What do you like? How's that for you to help him out?
It a lot of the time it's I get a little nervous for him. I mean, because it's sometimes you see him making mistakes that I made, and you try to tell him, and sometimes brothers want to listen, sometimes they don't. But a lot of the time I just try to give him pointers if I can, or help him out with setup, or he just had a flip here 2 weeks ago, and we spent that whole week building a car from chassis up, and getting him back together so we could run Glenridge last Sunday. And I'm always happy to help him. I want to be able to have him capitalize off of what I learned the hard way, right? If I tried something and it did not work, I want to be able to help him out so that he knows, not to do that again. And so he can learn from what I'd experienced. But it's kind of cool. I mean, I can't wait for him to move up at some point. It'll be cool to race against him. That's a really fun time. I don't want to go up too fast, but I'm hoping it's soon so I can turn some laps against them, and we can have a little fun that way.
So during everything that's going on with the pandemic and everything, I mean, yes, fans have been allowed at the racetracks, but on the other side of racing, iRacing ended up blowing up, and everybody's been using like iRacing and trying that out. Have you gotten to try that or even watch that?
I haven't tried it. I've watched it when they did it on the TV, and some of the Facebook Live things they did. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's neat for me, especially in the winter. I like watching it because, I mean, we can't do much up here in the Northeast for racing. I'd love to put a rig together to be able to do a little bit of it, especially now that they're putting big blocks in it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's neat, but it definitely doesn't replace the real thing. And like if you ask me right now if I'd rather go iRacing or go to race Fonda, I mean, everybody knows what the answer would be, right? None of us want to go iRacing right now. But you put us in the middle of January in the winter, I bet you everybody would go iRacing if they could.
So for you as a driver, if there was one driver you could race against, past or present, it could be NASCAR, dirt racing, anything like that, who would it be and why?
Oh, it'd be Jack Johnson. I would give anything just to get lapped by Jack Johnson once. I mean, just to be able to say you turn laps on the same surface with him. He was my favorite driver growing up. I've always been a Jack and Ronnie fan, and it'd be pretty cool to be able to race against him if he was still able to. That thing that, man, I wish I could have been able to turn some laps against Jack.
So if you could like race NASCAR or modified, would you? I mean, a modified obviously you probably would, but for NASCAR, if you ever got the chance to do it the NASCAR level, would you ever jump up to there and do it?
No, I think local dirt track racing is the best there is. Driver talent, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of talented people in NASCAR, I've always thought that, but I mean, when you get to that level, you lose a lot of personability with the drivers. They become more or less celebrities and not a race car driver. And part of being a driver and part of being around the races and what I grew up with was these guys who on the track were, their careers were larger than life, like Jack. I mean, just an absolutely legendary driver, but you could go up, shake his hand, and get his autograph, and he was like you were talking to anybody. And, you lose that at that professional level of NASCAR, and sometimes you get a rare one, like Stuart Friesen comes in and he's still the same kind of guy on a Saturday night at the dirt track, but I mean, a lot of these other guys like Jimmy Johnson and stuff. I mean, all you hear are the stories about how they don't even want to talk to fans. They don't want to shake hands with fans. They just want to. It's just dirt track racing is to me the best there is for being able to have that connection with the sport and feel like you're actually part of it. NASCAR feel like nothing more than a fan in the stands. Dirt racing, you can actually feel like you're a part of it, and that's something that you can't beat.
So, what other hobbies do you enjoy besides racing?
I actually used to fly. I'm a type pilot, a certified pilot. Used to fly for a while. Kind of stopped that when I got into the race cars. I do quite a lot with our local veterans. Parades, stuff like that. We own a bunch of vintage military vehicles and try to do events for them to keep them, in the minds of people, and get some tributes to our older veterans who are getting up there in age, like World War II, Korea, Vietnam. It's fun stuff, but it always comes back to machines. I think all of us drivers and crews, we just love machines and being able to tinker in the garage and stuff. So, that's always the end all be all for me, is if I can work on something or play with a new piece of machinery or car or whatever. That's where it's at.
So, hold on, let's see. Hold on, just like I said, I'm trying to test some things out. Just looking.
It's all right.
So, what is your favorite racing memory for you? It can be you or like a old racing memory.
Yeah, an old racing memory, even from before I raced, huh?
Like it can be either or.
Honestly, my favorite is the first time I turned a lap at Oswego last year. That was really cool to be going down the front stretch, and you just kind of you're going pretty good, and just being out there, and my father was there with a bunch of his friends and some friends of mine, and being able to be there and kind of be part of that was really, really cool. That's something you never forget, and I'm going to go back every year that I can to race there, but the first one's always kind of special, So that's my favorite memory of all time is being able to turn laps over at Oswego.
So to sum it up, this is my last question. What is the best part about being a driver for you?
The best part for me is that's a really good question, actually. I think the best part for me is you're doing something, and it's not something that everybody gets to do or that anybody can be good at. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's so worth it when it pays off and you get those good finishes and those wins. And it's not the money, it's not any of that. It's just knowing that you were the best that night. That to me is my favorite part. Where it's just you and your machine versus them and theirs, and to come out on top or close to, that's kind of a tribute to your own mechanical ability and driving ability, which, I mean, there's nothing like that, right? I mean, it's all you. It's your time in the shop, your hands built the car, and your hands drove it. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that. That's the best part about it. I have to say.
Yeah. So, I've started something in the past couple of weeks now with drivers called pretty much story time. Any funny, it can be a funny, a bad, a good, you could be a fight you got into or something that involves racing.
I got a good one. I'll tell you the story of how Joey Williams and I became friends. We so it was the King of Dirt race last year at Fonda Speedway, and we're in the heat race, and it's hard racing, right? It was a lot of Nerf bars hitting, and I go into 3, and I feel this absolute just jab right in the left rear, and I thought I broke something. I wasn't sure, but I just kept going and ended up throwing a yellow, and I come around and I see Joey Williams sitting there, and I'd known the name, didn't really know him all too well, knew of him, said hi a couple times, but we weren't really, best of friends, and ended up getting DQ'd in that heat race due to an incident where a guy and I got tangled up on the last lap for the last qualifying spot, and they told me I spun them, and I wasn't trying to or didn't mean to. But I pull in and I start yelling at the officials about how Joey Williams was hitting me and how can I get rough riding when I was, getting rough riding. People were rough riding me and whatnot. And a couple days later, I see Joey Williams at a friend's shop, and I made a comment to my brother. I said, "Hey, watch out for this guy." I said, "He'll just like to run into you," And after that, the jokes kept flying, and the next thing I knew, we became, some of the best of friends. And like I told you earlier, now we go on the road together to different tracks, and just kind of a friendship came out of that after some rough racing, and that was pretty cool. That's one of those stories I love to tell, because instead of being a bad one, we took a bad situation and made it into something good. So that was pretty cool.
So that's all I have for you today. Any questions for me?
No, man. I think what you're doing is awesome, and it's great to see someone, especially your age, getting into it. And I just want to tell you, keep on doing what you're doing, and I think it's fantastic. So,
any sponsors or family or friends you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I gotta thank my buddy Jim Passano. He's been a great help, great sponsor. Fastenal, Hometown Pub and Grub, Turf Tavern, Fame Motorsports or Design and Media. Jeff Carabin for doing all the cars and getting those cool paint schemes going on, and my girlfriend Heather, she puts up with a lot of long hours in the shop and weekends at the racetrack. But it's a whole team that makes this happen, man. So I got to thank all of them.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it, and hopefully once things get a little bit back to normal, I'll finally get to meet you.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. We'll take care, and we'll talk to you soon then.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.
Uh-oh. Didn't mean to do that. That was Brendan Gibbons. You can see the B24, like he said. That was actually really cool. I didn't really expect to hear about that, how his grandpa rode the B24 bomber in World War II. That's actually a pretty cool story for him to tell me. Thank you guys. So this, like I said, this is a new thing for me. I'm still learning the things about this computer because I just got it this past Friday. But so this is a very new era. I thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, it's gonna be a little bit different for right now. So say tomorrow night I'm out the Anthony Perego wins. Somehow I gotta line an interview up virtually on here with Anthony Perego about the race on here for YouTube. But I'll figure it out. Like I said, it's tough times right now in the world. It's gonna be a while before everything's really back to normal. But we just gotta keep staying positive and the racing. Even though racing's gonna be a lot different, there's Brendan and Victor Lane right there. Even though it's gonna be a lot different, it's gonna be once things open back up, it'll be a lot more calmer. But for right now, we just gotta deal with what we have. Keep watching the pay-per-views. Keep Dirt Track Digest TV. Just make sure you guys go there. We have good pay-per-views there. We have pay-per-views from every track that's open right now and running. And then DirtTrackDigest.com has got a lot of just the media for the races. If you want to read about a race recap, say Fonda last night, you guys can just go on the website DirtTrackDigest.com and it'll pop you right up. It'll pop right up, and it's pretty cool. I also started some iRacing. I'm working on getting a Twitch channel to work. I still got things I gotta work on to get that to happen. But eventually, once I start Twitch streaming, the links will be out. I'll start clipping stuff and posting some of that on here as well. But like I said, thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting me. Like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot to me. We're on the road to 100. We're getting very close. We're at 85 now for subscribers. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit it. And that's really all I have. Social media, Brady Hauser, Facebook, or you can go on the Fast Science page, and it's gonna be pretty cool. Also, this picture right here is Brendan's old car from last year, and I'm fortunate enough that he actually offered this door right here, this side door right here. He offered it up to me to have, so I'm definitely gonna take up on that offer, and we'll eventually be showing that on the show. Um, but like I said, thank you guys for watching. It means a lot. Keep supporting, like, comment, subscribe, and you guys have a good night. Take care.